January 2015, I started to feel ill. I just felt fatigued. I was getting a cough.
I was at work one day, running down the steps to get to a meeting, and I fainted. And I had never fainted before in my life.
That was unusual for me to ask Ash to take me to the ER. Kind of signified how bad it was at that point.
His breathing kept declining, and it was only a day after that he was transported to Temple Hospital. They had mentioned the lung transplant would really be the only option.
I was diagnosed with heart failure, and I actually looked at them like they were from outer space because you're talking to someone who's never been sick, so it was no way I could possibly need a heart transplant.
The most difficult thing was him being unconscious and not being able to talk to him. The person that I normally go to for everything was the one person I couldn't talk to.
I literally was in shock because I'm like, how did this happen? She went to the hospital for a simple procedure and now she's not coming back home. I come from a single parent household, so when you see your life support flash before your eyes, you literally don't know what to do.
Patients who need a transplant are, in many respects, desperate. It's a life or death situation, there's no question about it. Many of the patients we see here have been turned down at other places.
They worry about who's going to take care of their household when they're in the hospital. They worry about how will they be able to afford it, if they have the right insurance.
There's nothing more important than the family being at the bedside of the person as much as they can. Rob's wife and sister did everything for him. 24 hours a day, they were there.
Day to day in the hospital was definitely challenging. I spent every day in his hospital room, and I just want to be there for him. We live in New Jersey, and I was staying in hotels when he was critical, which was extremely costly. Luckily, the family house was available when we found out that he needed a transplant.
Once he was transplanted, Rob never gave up.
I had to do all of the therapies. They had to build me back up from the ground.
No person wants to be in a position where they can't be present for the person that they care the most about, especially in such a serious situation. So when you don't have access to transportation, which was my case, and you can't be there in the way that you want to, and it makes the process that more painful.
There's nobody that I know who wants to be sick, particularly if you're a person who is independent and used to living your life. And when you have to be kind of put in a position where, you really have no choice. I couldn't work. I had no choice.
It's extremely important that we provide resources and support, not only to support the transplant recipient patient, but also his or her family. There's a lot going on, dealing with a life-threatening illness, then a major surgical operation, and then the management of all the follow-up visits and other procedures which are necessary, and all of that is complicated and requires support, and we want to support the patient and his or her family in getting that done right.
What I appreciated the most was what they decided to do with his care was probably not typical. It was out-of-the-box thinking.
You can't really put it into words how grateful both of us really are. Just the fact that we got the chance to get married in the hospital. We had a child this year. I think a great deal of that was because of the care that I got at Temple.
It's the circle of life, and just to think that what we did here at Temple gave him the opportunity to marry the person of his dreams, and now they have a baby. You see all of this happen as a result of him having this life-saving operation.
I do know a little bit about my donor. I know it was a young man, a year younger than my daughter. I am passionate about living life to its fullest for him, for this gift.
We wouldn't have been able to be parents if it wasn't for the care we got at Temple and the second chance that we got.
She came home one afternoon and she says, "Mom, I think I'm going to Temple." I was so excited. You know what Temple did for me. And then for her to go to Temple, and I was just so god-awful proud. My heart truly belongs to Temple now.